as you said, every character carries its own divinity. I just want to talk about one character. I mean, it relates very much to the current day scenario. Every day we see a lot of unholy activities or maybe harassment, especially with women. And it happened in Mahabharata too. Droupadi, we know.
Yes.
And when you look at the present day century, we see a lot of rape cases. We see domestic violence. People treating women in the meanest way they can. So how do you think Droupadi, who withstood such kind of humiliation, she still stood strong? She still stood as an inspiration. So how do you think, what can women of today's world can draw from what Droupadi was in Mahabharata?
Right. I have heard a lot of scholars describing Droupadi's character in various ways, but what pains me is when I look at how media portrays Droupadi, especially the old movies and the TV serials always project her to be a vulnerable, meek lady who is so helpless and powerless and all of that, who is just thrown into the courtyard of the Duryodhana and Dushasana, unroping her and all of this. Yes, she was thrown into the courtyard and she was unroped, but she was never meek. She was never weak. She was never helpless or powerless. In fact, she is the only one in that entire courtyard who questioned people like Bhishma, and she literally cursed him and said, "You are fit to be, called as a senior person in this court." She literally fights with everyone and says, "This is not the way you should be treating a woman. This is the most unrighteous way of conducting the Dyuta and all of that." So she is not weak, and she has literally has experienced tough times that any woman can even think of, right? Right from marrying 5 men and being unbiased and being non-partial to all 5 of them, and taking care of the kingdom, right? She had a major role to play in the decision-making process and all of that. So Mahabharata describes her part quite elaborately. So Droupadi's character is extremely, versatile. I mean, it has so many shades in it, and unfortunately, we have failed to capture that. What I feel that today's women can learn from that is your commitment to your dharma will always protect you.
Got it.
And dharma is not religion, by the way. Dharma is what you realize as your responsibility, as your duty. If you stick to your duty, if you fulfill what is expected out of you, then naturally dharma will take care of you. And I think that is what Droupadi's character voiced out so clearly in the entire Mahabharata. In fact, when they were in the exile, right, they all go to the forest, right? Bhima and Droupadi will both of them have a very bitter argument with Dharmaraja, and they say, "What you did was wrong. You shouldn't have accepted this. Getting into the Dyuta is not your mistake," and all of that.
Yeah.
And Dharmaraja says, "No, this is what we have got and we should accept it gracefully," and he tries to be morally right. So for which Droupadi says so strongly, and she says that no, dharma is what is good for everyone. It is not about what is given to you, or it is not what you call it as dharma. Dharma is what is universal good. So if your decision is causing trouble to so many people, not just 5 Pandavas, it is causing trouble to the entire kingdom. So she says what you did is absolutely wrong.
Got it.
That is when she talks about the role of dharma, that is the role of your duties, and what is the need to stick to your duties and responsibilities. And you need to be doing those duties, fulfilling those duties to lead a meaningful life, right? So I think that is the message we all should draw, not just women, everyone, every human being for that matter, right? So at no point of time should we compromise on our duties, because when we when we fulfill our duties is when we know what are our limits and how much to stretch and how much not to stretch.
Got it. So does that draw down to the saying Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita?
Absolutely, yeah. That is the quintessence of what Draupadi was trying to say, right?
Got it.
So, Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha is not about fighting for your religious rights,
Yeah.
right? That's probably the worst way of translating it. Dharmo Rakshati Rakshitaha is where you have to take care of your duties and responsibilities. So, you do your tasks with maximum dedication,
Got it.
and you will get the returns.
Right. That was wonderfully said. Dharmo Rakshati Rakshita is not just about religious rights, but it is more about what's right, what's a conduct, what is your responsibility.
Yeah.
Very true. So, what message would you think Karna's life would give to people who are struggling emotionally on a lot of issues?
He is the one who asked Duryodhana to invite Draupadi into the court. Just because somebody is your friend, just because somebody is very close to you or you are indebted to that person, doesn't mean we should agree for everything.